Your face looks thinner.
Yeah, it does. Millie. All right, you want to see Millie? Here, you guys. It's just, and I'll show you. See?
Pretty bird.
There she is. Millie. Now she's all being silent. I'll show you the other side of the room. You can see my husband's desk that has nothing on it.
Clean.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Isn't that great? Yeah. So I'm working on myself, that's part of it. I have a friend of mine in my community here that's going to help me come do some organizing. It's kind of part of my journey. So
I hired an organizer before Christmas.
Mhm.
My goal was like November.
Mhm.
My goal was to have the whole thing organized by Christmas.
Mhm.
And she came twice, I think.
Mhm.
But she was so upset with me for not being able to not work and help her. And I was like, okay, I can't give you 6 hours ever.
like I'm
much
hiring you
less-
to do this thing. And
Yeah.
So, oh my God. Yeah. With ADHD, it's a never ending struggle. And I think what I've got to do is give myself some firmer rules on things that I'm allowed to acquire.
Yeah.
It's like I watch, and it's funny because I'm like obsessed with hoarders. Obsessed.
I know.
I was like, my house does not look as bad as these people's. I'm doing fucking great. That's not right.
Okay. This
That's
is like
not
me
good.
and my 600-pound life.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, I didn't. You know what? That was a slippery slope because I was like, if I watch this, then I'm going to think, oh my God, I look like a fucking superstar, and I don't need to work on myself. So I never watched that show. But I'm like, here's the thing. I don't need like a dozen different scented lotions and body sprays. I don't need a dozen of them. Could maybe one or two be okay? Sure. Do I have one nice expensive perfume that I wear that is like my signature perfume? How many other scents do I need? I don't need it all, right? So I have to just be like, okay, if you want to try something else, you have to get rid of one thing goes out, one thing comes in. Is kind of like where I have to get myself to. Otherwise I'm just going to have so much shit. So I actually working on that this week. In fact, after we chat today, one of my neighbors is coming over. Sweet lady, allergic to cats, still wants to help me.
That's nice.
You're so sweet. And so we're going to work on I have 2 storage units outside. And so we're going to clear those out, and there's like extra bins and stuff. So I was like, okay, if I get this cleared out and I get the bins out, then I can start pulling things from out of the house that I want to put in these bins, because we're going to have a community garage sale in June. And I was like, I'll save these items for what can go to the garage sale. And then anything else I'm going to put in trash bags, and I'm have somebody come and take it to the dump, because it's stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. So that's my own little side note. But let's just talk about our weight. How are you doing?
Well, I hit 75 this morning. So
nice.
I switched. Did I tell you that last time we talked?
Yes.
That I switched?
So you did switch. So tell me about what the difference is, because I have no idea.
Just semaglutide hits 1 receptor and tirzepatide hits 2.
Okay.
That's the basic difference.
Mm-hmm.
I had stalled for a really long time. I didn't want to spend the extra money for tirzepatide.
Is it more expensive? Like how expensive?
It is. It's like twice as much.
Oh,
almost twice as much.
Shoot. Okay.
But if you're stalled and you still have more weight to lose and you're spending money and nothing's happening,
then you're wasting your time. Yeah.
Right. So I finally decided, okay, let's see if this gets it moving again. And it did.
Nice.
So I hit 204 this morning.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm so excited for you.
Insane. Like I can see the Wonderland is in sight.
Yes. That's exciting.
And
that's super exciting.
I can remember being on Weight+Watchers. I have we were going to Mexico, me and a bunch of girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to Weight Watchers to try to lose a little before we went to Mexico. And I remember being like 195. And that was 2002.
Okay.
We're talking about, it's been over 20 years
22
since I
years
was
ago.
under 200.
I can't believe 2002 was 22
Yeah.
years ago. What the fuck is
Yeah.
happening? I feel like, I'm like, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I don't see an old person.
No, I don't either.
You know, and I'm like,
did you see that meme? It went around this week again. That was like Alice from the Brady Bunch that said, if it said something like, if you're 45, she's older than you are. She's older on the last episode of the Brady Bunch than you were right now. And Alice from the Brady Bunch looked like an old lady.
Oh, yeah. See, there he is.
Oh,
hey,
Justin. Word. Yeah. So no, my birthday is actually tomorrow, and I'll be 48. And
oh, happy birthday! Oh my God, what are you gonna do? Hang on a second. Are you leaving? I love you. Mwah. You're the best. Bye.
What am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna not work. I'm gonna get my nails done, and I'm trying a new treatment, which sounds a little silly, but I've been thinking lately. I heard that Sculpt, which is like a electromagnetic stimulation machine, can help make your back feel better. Like it'll strengthen your back or strengthen your core so that your back will feel better. But because I work with so many cosmetic practices, I'm never like, oh, I'll just go pay full price for that. I just wait around for someone to be like, we need a training patient. Can you be a training patient?
Yeah.
Because I'd rather do that than spend my money.
Sure.
But I got a text from Franco's office where I get my meds that they got this Pure+Impact machine. Let me show you what this is, because it's just like the same technology as Sculpt, but is supposed to be a little better.
Oh, okay.
Or different. And so it like, what do you do? Ooh, no. Thanks.
That was really loud.
It's got these 8 little, I'm going to film some of it tomorrow. Actually, I need to text the social media girl over there and tell her I'm coming in, because I was looking for victims for social media.
Nice.
So, I'll film some of it and to share the fun of what this feels like, because it's supposed to be like, I imagine it feels a little crazy, because it's.
So we're talking like it's like electric pulses, or like what?
It's all marketing babble, so I don't actually know what it's supposed to feel like or do.
Like there's a lot of words there. I don't get it.
So stay tuned. We're going to try this tomorrow.
Okay.
I may just run screaming, like, take it off me.
Oh, I'm sure it's not going to be that bad. It looks, anyway, any time that I can just be relaxed and laying down in a, spa setting like that is, I don't care do whatever you want to me. I'm just going to lay.
But does this look relaxing?
Well,
I'm not so sure it's going to be relaxing.
I don't know. Probably not. But I'm the kind of person that like, I fall asleep when I get tattooed. So, but I have a sleep disorder too. So that probably doesn't help me.
Yeah, no.
But it looks like it's just like fat reduction, or it's just
it doesn't do fat.
Firming.
It does muscles. It doesn't do fat.
Oh, okay.
So if you're seeing tone, it's because the muscles got stronger and the shape changed. So that would be nice. I would enjoy some of that. I think that would be great.
So what are your target areas here?
Well, I am hoping that they will at least do my abs and maybe my like upper back, shoulders, because I have a lot of upper back pain. So we'll see what happens.
I have back pain as well. In fact, I wrenched my shoulder. Well, I didn't wrench my shoulder, but like, I don't know what the hell happened. I think that mostly my kid slept in the bed with me, and usually she likes to sleep on this shoulder. Suction cup, Velcro.
Yeah,
this is what this is. I told the other day, I was like, we have to cut the umbilical cord. It's time. Okay. And she's like, no, Mommy, I love you. And I'm like, I know you love me. It's so wonderful.
Kari, she says, but I want you.
Oh, yeah.
But I want you.
Mommy addicted, which is such a blessing. And please, anybody listening, like I love my kid.
I'm not complaining. I am not complaining.
It isn't a complaint, but sometimes you want to breathe.
I do. So I like sleeping.
It's,
I need it.
Essential. But she slept in the bed with me. And so I think this shoulder I don't know how this shoulder got messed up when she slept on this side, but that's what happened. So,
Well, I have frozen shoulder too. So I've been going to see a stretching guy, which has been the best thing I've ever done because I had frozen shoulder on the other side like 3 years ago and it took a
Mhm.
year to go away. But it turns out when your shoulder is starting to be injured, that your instinct is to do nothing. It's wrong. You should actually keep using it and keep making it stronger, or it will
Right.
just keep getting worse.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
there's my public service announcement. Don't let frozen shoulder sit there. Fix
Right. Fix it.
use it.
Uh,
Use your
s
shoulder.
so I have lost some weight.
Yeah.
I'm okay, so started at 250. I am at 229. So I'm down 21
Hey.
pounds. Yeah, 229. Um, Still shooting for a goal of 150. I don't know. We'll see. Um, and what else was I going to tell you? Oh, I watched the Oprah Special.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was riveted on every word everybody said. It was phenomenal. Um, if you're listening and you haven't watched it, go watch it because it's amazing. And it was very nice that she didn't take sides. She was like, okay, we want to hear from people that this didn't work for too. And, whatever. So that was really cool. Um, my biggest takeaway was well, there's two things. When they referred to the term food noise, that really resonated with me because I was like, this is something that people struggle with that I never had a term for. Like, you know what I mean? In that
Yes.
you relate to that too?
This is the single biggest thing that has changed my life is the lack of the food noise.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, I never thought about it in that way." But, now that I'm reflecting on it, I'm like, gosh, it really does take away all that like overwhelming static that you have when you're thinking about food and when you're going to eat next and what you're going to eat. And and for somebody with not only has this problem but also has ADHD, it's also very it's it becomes even more like overwhelming. And so, when I'm like, oh, and I'm so starving because I haven't eaten, half the day because I've been running around, like a crazy person. And then all of a sudden I'm so starving that I have zero willpower or control over what I'm going to eat because I'm just going to eat whatever I can get in my mouth the fastest, which is usually not
Yeah.
the healthiest thing, because you're talking like, oh, I got to running errands. Oh, yep, there's the Taco Bell. Let's go through there, So um having a term for that, what I was going through, that was huge. I was like, this is great. Um so that was a really big awesome takeaway. The other thing that they had talked about was that some people may need to be on this for the rest of their lives.
Fine with me.
And and I haven't really thought that far. I was like, "Oh,
At some point,
well,
I got really scared that they were going to take it away from me.
oh,
At this
okay.
point, there's enough people saying that there's enough medical people saying it's something that we may need to be on forever, and I'm fine with that. I will figure
Mhm.
it out.
Right."
Or maybe we go down to a lower dose and we
That's
stay on
kind
it.
of what I was wondering. I was like, "Well, maybe, you know, you get the weight off and then you don't need to take as much to maintain maybe."
Yeah.
But then I'm like, "Okay, do we know what the long-term effects are from?" I mean, I'm having little to no side effects whatsoever,
Me too.
and so I feel like, okay, I'm lucky because I think the statistic that she quoted was like 17% of people that started the medication quit due to the side effects, which is that's a big number. 17%. And I don't
That
think
is
that
kind of a big number, but did they not? I mean, it seems like maybe they just didn't push through it or they were on too high of a dose or
that's
there could
kind
be
of
so many reasons for that.
right. So I was like, okay,
Maybe
but
they didn't have good eating habits to begin with. I ate really well. Like I ate a high protein diet before I started this. I didn't have to
mhm,
change the way I ate. But if you're like out eating fast food and fried food all day long and then you start this medication, you're going to be sick.
mhm, yeah. Yeah. So, So I just didn't really think about the long-term commitment. So I'm thinking that through now. Which, I mean, I'm okay. It is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of people that are on a lot of medications that aren't covered by insurance,
My
and
husband
you
has
gotta.
been on blood pressure medication for 8 years to
Mhm.
keep his blood pressure down, and nobody judges him for that.
Mm-mm.
Or
Nope.
says, "Oh, your blood pressure is back to normal. Now you can stop." In fact, he
Mhm.
did stop once, and he got in big trouble.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. I think that we are going to see a shift in how people view these medications for weight control in the coming years. I think that this is kind of just the beginning of, you know, opening up your eyes as to, hey, this is not just you have no willpower and you're just lazy, which, you know, is hits home for me, because being an ADHDer, I was called lazy a lot. And people are just like, "Oh, you just have to focus. You're just being lazy. Like, you can do this. You're really smart." I'm like, "Okay, being smart is not the issue here. It's my brain works like not everybody else's brain works." So,
Yeah.
anyways, I don't get off my ADHD soapbox, but um
I do not have ADHD. However, I am going through a bit of what I would call body dysmorphia because I do not feel in my mind like I'm any thinner than I was at 280. I
mhm.
look at myself in the mirror the same way. When you're 80, you look at yourself in the mirror in a way that is denial. Now I just look in the mirror the same way, but I look the same to myself.
Really.
Yeah,
It'll get better, I think.
they say that. Yeah, they
Yeah.
say it will get better.
The longer that you know, the longer that you're in your new body, the more ownership you'll have, and it'll start to come around. I have the opposite problem. I think I look at myself and I see a much thinner person than I actually am. Yeah. So, and I don't know why that is, because I don't know if it has to do with like having like more self-confidence or higher self-esteem. Not that you have low self-esteem, because I don't think that you do. Um, but I look in the mirror and I'm like, "Oh, this girl's cute." I don't There have been times where I've looked in the mirror and I'm like, "Oh my god, you're so fat and ugly," right? Like, we've all had those times. But for the most part, I don't look at myself and see like an overly fat person. But I know
I
that I am, because I'm like, okay, I look at the mirror and I see a size 14, and then I'm going over to my closet. I'm like, why are my jeans size 20? Like, what is going on here?
Oh
Like,
yeah, I was gonna
I
send
don't,
you a bunch of clothes.
yeah. Um,
I was
so
at I
wait till I get
was
my closet organized, and then I'll let you know when I'm ready, okay?
okay. All right. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um I was sitting outside waiting for a lacrosse game to start, and I was killing like 30 minutes sitting there by myself enjoying the weather. So I started taking selfies of my face, and I took like 20 selfies. And in all of them I looked at them and I was like, that's my cousin. That's not me. That's my cousin.
Oh.
I even sent it to her and I said, "Look, I took a picture of you." It looks it looks like her. It does not look like me.
Oh, that's funny.
It's really weird. Like, we almost look like the same person now.
Really?
Yeah,
Now you have to send me a picture of her now. Like, I'll tell
I
you.
will.
Yeah.
I totally will.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that happened was that a year ago, one of my very oldest friends from college, I told him I was starting, and he was surprised and had a kind of a negative attitude.
Hmm.
I'd say more uninformed or an uneducated reaction. But we've been talking this whole time. We talk, every couple of weeks or once a month.
Mm-hmm.
We text frequently. And we've been friends for well, what year did we finish college? 98. So 28 years,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
27 years of friendship. And he is like me, is the person in his family who's the big one. No one else in my family is overweight
Mm-hmm.
or is now. And I'm going to have to get used to that. But he started this week. So he finally
Really?
got a prescription and he's starting. And so he's asking me all the new questions. And maybe I'll have him on as a guest because he has
Yes.
lots of interesting things to say.
Oh my God. Yes, I
We'll
would love
see if I
that.
can talk him into it. One thing you sent me that I think is interesting is, and you asked me, is why are skinny people taking this? Or people who we think are skinny, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so I think you sent me a pin of this girl that went from what was her weight loss from like 150 to 120 or something?
No, it was like I don't even think she was 150. I want to say she's like 145 to 128 or something like that. And I'm looking at her before pictures and I was like, this girl looks banging.
She was just a curvy girl, right?
Right. And I'm like, I didn't think, and she seemed like a little on the shorter side. So, okay, maybe you're 128 and you're 5 feet tall. That's fine. Right. I don't know. It just seemed like, I think the part of it was, I'm like, this doesn't seem like something you would want to do if you just were losing like vanity weight. But maybe, who cares, right? I'm not trying to judge this person. I'm just trying to say, I kind of just thought, okay, well, this is a big commitment. It's not cheap. I thought maybe it would be reserved for people that need like
A
really
lot.
substantial weight loss. But, I guess everybody's money is the same color green. So, if somebody walks into the clinic and is like, I want to do this and they've got the money to pay for it, great, whatever,
Well, and there was a time in our history where people who were 20 pounds overweight were told at the doctor, you need to lose 20 pounds.
Right.
Which I don't think they do that now. They stopped even saying anything to me.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, except for my endocrinologist told me I needed bariatric surgery. And I was like, dude.
It gave me a flashback. I was having dinner with a office manager from a bariatric surgeon's office once. And she is just so matter of fact. She was like, why haven't you gotten a lap band? And I just looked at her like, what would I need that for? Why are you saying these things to me?
What? Stupid. I look great. Oh my God. Oh,
but
man.
it's not healthy to be 20 pounds overweight.
Right. It does have an impact, that's for sure.
If you're perimenopausal or menopausal, you can't easily drop it either. It's hard.
Yeah. That's one thing that I'm kind of worried about. I'm like, oh, this menopause is coming fast and furious. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get ready. Gotta get ready. But what was I gonna say? Oh, but you sent me an article about let them eat everything.
Yeah.
And I to be honest, it was a long article and I don't think halfway through it, but I think the whole gist of it was this woman doesn't really regulate like what her kids eat. She just lets them eat whatever they want, basically. Isn't that the one you sent me?
Yes, she did. This is the one. This woman has a podcast called Burnt Toast, and it's terrible.
Oh, God. Okay.
I tried. Cammie, I tried.
Yeah.
I did
not good.
I did not subscribe to this person's worldview.
Oh, okay.
Although I do understand I think there's validity to the idea that we should not assign values to food in a way that makes our kids think some food is special and other food is not special. It's just food.
Right.
And there's a lot of like food, Instagram, food, kid accounts that I follow. One of my favorites is Kids Eat in Color. And my kids eat everything, but they like candy a little too much. And they have a really bad reaction emotionally if I don't let them have all the candy they want. But even when I do, what's interesting is they don't eat all of it. And I would have hidden in my room and binged the whole dang bag.
Yeah. See, that's with my daughter, she doesn't eat either. Like like I'll ask her, like, do you want, like, how many cookies do you want? Or I was like, do you want 2 or 3? And she's like, I'll just have 2. Okay. Or she'll, like, when it comes to like Halloween candy and stuff like that, I was like, she does self-regulate very well most of the time. So getting her to eat protein is the hardest thing, but other than that, I mean, her favorite binge food is popcorn, which is not the worst thing to binge on because it's,
Unless it's movie popcorn and you're getting the
no, we get
extra
the
large bucket with a refill.
No. She'll eat like, like a regular microwavable bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
We get the lightly salted. So she doesn't like it with any butter. She doesn't like it with any salt. She's like just pure popcorn. And she eats half a bag maybe, And I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to get her to learn that self-regulation more. And it's funny because when I just went out to lunch with my contractor that does a lot of work here in the community for us. And we were talking about food because he started taking phentermine, and he's a big boy. Oh God, how old is he? Let's say he's mid-30s, and he's 6'5".
Yeah.
And he's big. I mean, he could probably use 50 pounds, 75, like, and I say big, and I say it with love in my heart, because if he ever listens to this, I'm like, he knows, he knows how much I love this guy. But he started taking phentermine. I was like, how long have you been on it? He's like 2 or 3 days. I was like, do you feel like you're about to vibrate out your skin? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it'll go away, because I've taken that too. And so we were talking about, I was like, yeah, I'm doing the semaglutide. And so we were talking about that. And then we were sitting down to lunch, and he's like, you have to give me a minute. I have to finish, because he was like of the raised with the you clean your plate
club. Yep.
Clean plate club. And I told him, I said, look, you don't have to eat everything. I was like, you're on this medication. That's the whole point. You don't have to. He's like, no, I have to eat it all. I'm like, dude, no. I was like, I promise you, if you don't eat those 2 chicken wings or those, dozen French fries, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so I was not raised with that.
I wasn't either, but my mom withheld food like crazy. And so we were hungry all the time. I was hungry.
Do you think that's what triggered? Okay. Interesting. So did she just think that like give me an example of how that would go? I don't want to dig up the past if it's too much, but you know what I'm saying?
No, it's fine. I just hope she never listens. I don't know. I mean, we remember things in funny ways. Like what we think happened may not have been what actually happened. So I'll just start by saying that.
Right. Well, and there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that, in an adult world that can come across totally different to a kid. But anyhow.
I think the most likely scenario is we just didn't have that much money, so they didn't buy enough food. It wasn't that she was like, I'm going to keep you from eating.
Like, we have this huge pantry full of food and you can't eat it.
We did not.
Okay.
But my neighbors' friends, like my friends in the neighborhood, they always had full pantries. And so I remember, this came back to me, like going through, or when I started babysitting, going through and binging out of their fridges and pantries. Like, ooh,
really?
What's this? Spam? I've never had spam. I'm going to eat this. And yeah, because we just didn't have that much food in our house.
Really?
And it could have either been money, or it could have just been that my mom is not that hungry and something is different about my body. So that, for me, that food noise goes way, way, way back, all the way back.
Right. Well, it's probably a combination of the two, I would assume.
Yeah. Probably.
Do you think maybe she was, regardless of the financial thing, do you think she was seeing your habits and trying to control what she could by saying, okay, hey, I've got a kiddo that's binging, so we can't have that much food in the house, or she's just going to eat everything. Do you think it was something like that?
It could have been.
Okay.
And you just made me think of another friend of mine whose daughter was bingy, and they put a lock on the pantry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she would wail on the floor, and she would say, I remember this so well. She would say, I just want some flavor in my mouth.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, I have my family that's in Tennessee. My sister-in-law watches a little boy that for about an hour before he goes to school. So he comes over, and this kid, she was trying to explain to me like his binging habits. Like they have to do that. They have to keep like locks in the stores and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, this is a medical issue at this point. This is not just like a kid who wants to sneak a few Oreos on the way to the bus. Okay. Like this is a kid that eats a full meal at breakfast at home, goes to school and eats breakfast. They pack his lunch. He eats that lunch, plus he eats school lunch. And then, he wants to just eat all day long. And I'm like, this is not just like a little bit of self-control situation. This kid's got something going on medically.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be a little bit more, non-judgmental when it comes to, parents and having kids that are overweight, because it's something else is going on here. Either there's, a combination of brain chemistry issue. There's, going to be an abuse issue. There's going to be something else that's going on here. Because I don't think that it's just not quote unquote normal for somebody to behave that way. So, and it's not always like, oh, the parents are just letting the kid have free reign. That isn't what it is,
No.
So I think having these medications. Now I know that in the Oprah Special, there was a teenage girl that was on, and they said the name of the medication. I don't remember what it is, but it's one that's approved. What's that?
I remember this, and I remember being like, oh, that's what that med is.
Yeah, it's one that's approved for minors or, teenagers, I guess. I can't remember. I may have to look it up, but this girl, same kind of situation. She just, what's that?
Victoza.
Yes, Victoza. That's what it's called. And what boggles my mind is that insurance doesn't cover it. I'm like, how is it that if I wanted to have bariatric surgery, insurance would cover that? But you're not going to cover a medication that can help me lose the weight that's way, way, way less expensive? Like, this is what? Insurance makes me insane. I hate
a lot of people's insurance won't cover it until you've tried something else. So then they'll say, like, you have to be on phentermine for this long and it can't work for you to get approved for the new one. When it's very obvious that phentermine is not great for people. Like, you can't even be on it for very long. It's not allowed.
No. Yeah, my endocrinologist is like, have you tried phentermine? I was like, yes, I've tried it before, but I can't take that because I'm already on Adderall. So no. I am not doing 2 stimulants. It would be peeling me off the ceiling.
Yikes.
No, thanks. I'm trying to live longer, not live less. God.
That's what it's all about.
I know.
Well, congrats on, what was it, 25 pounds?
21.
21.
Not quite to 25 yet, but I'm getting there.
I bet by 2 weeks from now, you'll be at 25.
I could be. Yeah, in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. For sure. All right, sister. I love you tons.
Love you too.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Instagram at Less of You Podcast. Are you confronting the same challenges and have a story to tell? I'd love to hear your story on our Skinny Shot Stories podcast. Contact me for more details at skinnyshotstories.com. If you're a doctor and would like to learn more about sponsoring this or any of our cosmetic surgery and weight loss podcasts, go to lessofyou.com. Less of You is a production of The Axis, TAGAXIS.io.